of the problem in this curved beam, we should know first what is curved beam. A curved beam are the parts of machine members found in C-clamps, crane hooks, frame of presses, riveters, punches, shears, boring machine, planers, etc. As you can see, it is a part of a machine members which are found in this type of materials, that is C-clamps, crane hooks, frame of presses, riveters, punches, etc. As you can see, this is a C-clamp. So it is in the shape of curve. Okay. So the next is crane hooks. Though you have seen a crane on the handle at the top, you will be seeing a hook like this which is in the curved shape. So the curved beam is present in this. Okay. So next you would have seen in any of the industries the huge presses, which are in the shape of curved, so they are not a straight. So the bottom which will be there, that will be in the curved shape. Then riveters, punches, shears, boring machines, planers, etc. These all are the things in which the curved beam is found. Okay. So if you anyone like, if in the examination they will ask what is curved beam, you have to write like this: a curved beam are the parts of a machine members found in C clamp, crane hooks, frame of presses, riveters, punches, shears, boring machine, planers, etc. So this, in this way you have to give this answer. Okay. So we'll move to the next question.
So differences between curved beam and straight beam are shown here. So I have made a part, that is, this is curved beam and this is straight beam. So I have removed the four differences in this. So if you're gonna write these four differences, you're definitely gonna take a marks. So you will go. The first is neutral axis of this section does not coincide with its centroidal axis. Yeah, definitely. Thus, it is a curved beam. So neutral axis, that will does not coincide with the centroidal axis. And in the straight beam, it will coincide with its centroidal axis. As you can see, neutral axis of the section coincides with its centroidal axis. Second is, stresses are not proportional to the distance of the fibers from the neutral axis. Hence, the distribution of stress is non-linear. Though it is a curved beam, the stresses distribution will be not non-linear, and in the straight beam, it will be in a linear. So as you can see, stresses are proportional to the distance of the fibers from the neutral axis, and hence distribution of stresses is linear. So as I told, this is the curved beam. The distribution of the stresses will be in non-linear, and in the straight beam, the distribution of the stresses will be in linear. Now, the general expression for bending stress in a curved beam is sigma b minus mby ae r1 minus y, or minus mby ae y plus rn. On the other side, the general expression for bending stress in a straight beam is sigma b minus mi into y. So sigma b, as you know, this is sigma b. Sigma b is nothing but a bending stress. Okay. So minus mb into y. So as mb is nothing but bending moment at the centroid. This is bending moment at the centroid. Okay. So the expression, general expression for the bending stress in a curved beam is this, or you can write it, write this equation. And for the general expression for the bending stress in a straight beam is sigma b m by I into y. This you have seen in the DME1 design of while solving the problem for the bending stresses in a straight beam. You would have seen this, that m by I into y is the expression for the straight bending stresses in a straight beam. Now you can see the last fourth one difference is stress distribution in a curved beam is as shown in figure. So I have given a figure number, that is 1.1. So don't forget to give, if you are giving any of the figure number, so please give one figure number below the figure which you are going to show it. So you can see a straight line is there. They have told stress distribution in a curved beam is as shown in figure. So the stress, as I told, this is curved beam, this is curved, and how the stresses are distributed. Okay, this is the compressive and this is the tensile. So this is how the stresses are distributed. Next you can see the diagram properly. This CA is nothing but centroidal axis, and NA is nothing but neutral axis. On the other side, you can see stress distribution in a straight beam is as shown in figure 1.2. I have given a name figure as 1.2. You can see here, this is also a straight line. This is not a curve. Here something mistake has been happened. So this is also a straight line. So the stress are distributed in the straight beam. This is the straight beam, so different stresses are distributed. This is, you can see, same. Na is nothing but neutral axis and Ca is centroidal axis. Here you can see centroidal axis is here and neutral axis is here, though it is a curved, so the distribution of stresses is like this, and here it is a straight, so the distribution of the stresses in neutral axis and centroidal axis. Why it is neutral axis and centroidal axis? Because as I told in the first, neutral axis of the section coincides with its centroidal axis, but here it does not coincide with its centroidal axis. So guys, today I have covered two topics, that is one.
Those points are the basics for the curved beams, and then the next one is the what are the assumptions that are being made in the curved beams is what will be there. So just go through this.
What are the assumptions made in finding stresses distribution for a curved flexural member? So as this stresses in curved beam is a derivation, so before knowing this, we need to know what are the assumptions made in finding the stress distribution for a curved flexural member. So without wasting time, let's go. Is what are the assumptions made in finding stress distribution for curved flexural member? Or they can ask in this way, that list the assumptions made in obtaining stress equation in curved beam. So this question might ask in for 6 marks or 8 marks. So I have seen now it was asked for 6 marks. So they might ask according to your syllabus marks distribution it is. So you can see there are 6 different assumptions which I have made here. So the first one is the material of the beam is perfectly homogeneous and isotropic. Now what is homogeneous and what is isotropic? So the homogeneous is nothing but that is the material throughout. Okay, the beam material which is there, that will be the throughout the material will be same. Okay, the material of the beam is perfectly homogeneous, that is the material that the same material throughout. And isotropic means that is equal elastic properties in all directions. So the equal elastic properties will be there in all directions. Second one is the material of the beam obeys Hooke's law. As we all know, Hooke's law means stress is directly proportional to strain. So this material of the beam that obeys the Hooke's law. Okay, next is the Young's modulus is same both in tension and compression. No need of explanation of this because it is very easy. The Young's modulus is same both in tension, tensile and compressive. Okay. The next is the cross section. The cross section has an axis of symmetry in a plane along the length of. Symmetry means regularity of this. Okay. So the cross section has an axis of plane symmetry in a plane along the length of the beam. The next is the transverse sections. So wherever the transverse sections in the beam which are plane before bending remains planes, after bending also they will remain plane. There will be nothing changes, that will remain plane only. And at last is each layer of the beam is free to expand or contract. So there is nothing like restriction or only the expand should be there, not a contract. The both will be there. Each layer is of the beam is they are free to expand or contract. Okay, so these are the 6 assumptions. If the questions comes at the time of your semester exams or internal exam, you need to write in this way. So this, if you write these 6 assumptions, no need to add any of the other new. These 6 are enough to get out of 4 marks. Okay.
Those are the assumptions, few assumptions regarding this curved beam. Next, I will share the video of the curved beam derivation. You can try to understand this one also.
Stresses in curved beam. As I said, is an important derivation, so we need to know what is it.
Okay, so we'll start. Consider a curved beam subjected to a bending moment MB as shown in figure. So this is a curved beam, so which is subjected to a bending moment. Until and unless we won't apply a bending moment, it will not be curved. So okay, so we'll see in figure the lines AB. You can see a lines AB and CD represent two such planes before bending. So I'll tell you one example. See, this is our beam, actual beam. So if this is a straight beam, so when in a figure, as they told, the line AB and CD are the two such plane, okay, before bending. So before bending it will be like this. Okay, then when there is a no stresses induced at this position. Okay, so when a bending moment MB is applied to the beam, the plane CD rotates with respect to AB to an angle d theta, so to the position FG. So as when a CD, when a bending moment is applied, the CD will rotate, the plane CD will rotates with respect to the AB through an angle d theta. So it will be like this. Okay, this is our A, this is B, and this is C, and this is D. So there will be an angle generated over here, that is d theta. So I'll take it as FG. Okay, so and the outer fibers are shortened while the inner fiber are elongated. So this is the outer fiber. Okay, this is the outer fiber and this is the inner fiber. So outer fiber is shortened. So once it is there, then the outer fiber is shortened as the inner, while the inner fibers are elongated. So the original length of the strip at the distance y from the neutral axis is y plus r and theta. So the original length of the strip at a distance y from the neutral axis is y plus r n theta. You should remember this, y plus r n by theta. So this is y. Okay, it is shortened by the amount of y d theta. So shortened by an amount of y d theta. So y d theta by y plus r n theta, that is nothing but E. And the stresses in the fiber is sigma is equal to capital E into small e, where we know this sigma is nothing but a stress, this is a strain, and this is our Young's modulus. So the equation becomes that is sigma is equals to minus E y d theta by y plus rn theta. So remember this, y d theta by y plus rn theta. So I'll take it as equation number 1. Okay, so as you can see here, so you can see this is the compressive, where the distribution of stresses at compressive and tensile, it will look like this. This is our centroidal and neutral axis, this is our beam, these are the two such planes. When it has been when a bending moment is applied, there will be a angle d theta will produce. This you can see, this is a theta, RO, RC, RN, RI. We'll see what are this. Okay, so let MB is the applied bending moment. So MB is the applied bending moment. RI is the inner radius of curved beam. So this is the inner, this is the outer. So RI, where is RI? This here is the RI. So inner radius of the curved beam, from where the center line of curvature. Okay, then RO. RO is nothing but outer radius of a curved beam. So this is the outer radius. So this is the outer radius of the curved beam. This is RO. Okay, then RC, radius of centroidal axis. So this is the RC, radius of centroidal. As I told, this is the centroidal axis, this is the neutral axis. So radius of centroidal axis, Rn is the radius of neutral axis. So now as I told, that is sigma is equals to minus E y d theta by y plus Rn theta. This is equation number 1. Okay, since the fiber is shortened, the stress induced in the fiber is compressive stress. So since it is shortened, so the stress induces compressive stress, hence the negative sign I have taken here. This is a negative sign because a compressive stress was there. Okay, the load on the strip having dy and cross section area dA is dF. Okay, so that is, now this equation will become dF is equals to sigma dA is equals to minus, same you have to write, into dA. Okay, now
that is integration of df is equals to 0. Now integration of this term, this whole term is equals to 0. E d theta by theta, integration of this, we remains with y dA by y plus Rn. Okay, Rn. So integrate this term is equals to 0. So as E d theta by theta is not equal to 0, and this integration of y dA by y plus Rn is equals to 0. Understood till this? Now this you take it as equation number 2. Okay, no, I'll tell you where is the equation number 2. So MB, now we have to do is, if the moment are taken about the neutral axis, we have to take a moment, that is bending moment, is equals to minus integration of y df. Substitute the value of df. Now what is the value of df? This is the value of df. Okay, now MB is equals to E d theta by theta integration of y square by y plus Rn dA. So now if you differentiate this, it will be y minus y Rn divided by y plus Rn into dA. Now E d theta integration of y dA. Okay, integration of y dA. Now what is y dA? I'll tell you afterwards. But y dA by y plus Rn is equals to 0, as I told before. So take it as equation number 2. Okay, now this, since integration of y dA represents the statical moment of area, it may be replaced by capital A. This is capital A. Okay, it may be replaced by capital A small e. So this capital A is nothing but total area, and the distance, this E is nothing but the distance E from the centroidal axis to neutral axis. So wherever YDA was there, we have to replace with AE. So the equation becomes MB is equals to E d theta. This is AE. Integration of YDA, that was a statical moment of area. So I have replaced with AE. So directly you can write AE. This is an equation number 3. Now from equation number 1, E d theta. Now we have to remove E d theta. I'll show you. Here you can see a equation number 1. You have to take it E d theta by theta. So you'll get, by rearranging, you'll get, that is minus sigma y plus Rn by y. Now substitute this term in equation number 3. If you substitute, you'll get MB is equals to minus sigma y plus Rn by y into AE. Now what is sigma? Sigma is equals to minus MBY y plus Rn into AE. This is our equation number 4. Similarly, we have to find two, that is bending stress at the outer fiber and bending stress at the inner fiber. So what is bending stress at the outer fiber? We'll see. Bending stress at the outer fiber, sigma BO. Sigma BO means, sigma B means bending stress, O means outer fiber. So sigma BO is equals to minus MB CO divided by AE into Rn plus CO, where Rn plus CO is nothing but RO. So I'll replace like this. Sigma BO is equals to minus MB by CO divided by AE into RO. This is my equation number 5. Okay, so as CO is nothing but the distance from the neutral axis to the outer fiber, so it is a compressive stress, as I take a negative sign. Okay, so what is it is? So distance CO, you can see here, this is CI, this is CO. Okay, so this is C1, C2. So CO is nothing but the distance from the neutral axis to the outer fiber. This is the neutral axis to the outer fiber. Okay, similarly CI is nothing but distance from the neutral axis to the inner fiber. I'll show you. See here. Now we'll move like to the next, that is bending stress at the inner fiber. So this is sigma BI. Sigma B is nothing but bending stress at the inner fiber. I is equals to MBCI by AE Rn minus CI. Now where Rn minus CI is nothing but Ri. Okay, Rn minus CI is equal to Ri. So substitute in this, where CI is, as I told, distance from the neutral axis to the inner fiber. As you can see, I have taken, I didn't took a positive, negative sign because it is a tensile stress. So hence positive sign. So this is up to this only the derivation is. First you have to draw the diagram, and then you have to write that consider a beam like that. Then when you apply a bending moment, this you can see a stresses distribution. This is a compressive and this is the tensile. When the bending moment is applied, the plane which is AB and CD, you have to take two such planes. Then once the bending moment is applied, it will rotate with respect to AB with an angle d theta, that is FG. Okay, then similarly this is curvature. I have forgot to tell, this is CL is nothing but center line of curvature. I have drawn plain line here, actually it is like this. Okay, center line of curvature. Okay, make it correct. Then similarly this I told sigma is equals to capital E minus capital E into small e. Okay, then this term, and when the load on the strip having the thickness dy and cross sectional area dA is df, then df is equals to dA, here also dA. The integration of dA, take e d theta by theta outside, integration of only y dA by y plus Rn is equals to 0, where this is not equal to 0 and this is equal to 0. Okay, then we have to apply a moments. So if you apply a moments, mb is equals to minus integration of y df, substitute the value of df, you'll get this term. Once you get this term differentiate, then what you have to do is this integration of y dA by y plus Rn is equals to 0, take it as equation number 2. So here integration of y dA is nothing but statical moment of area, that is y dA. We have to replace y dA, integration of y dA by AE. So replace integration of y dA by AE, then mb is equals to e d theta by theta into AE. This is our equation number 3rd. Now from the equation number 1 we want e d theta by theta. So this is the e d theta, we have to take it e d theta. You'll after rearrange, so you'll get this equation, that is minus sigma y plus Rn by y. So from the equation 1 we found that e d theta by theta, that is minus sigma y plus Rn by y. Substitute this equation in equation number 3. So mb is equals to minus sigma y plus Rn by y into AE. Now we want sigma is equals to minus b mby by y plus Rn into AE. This is equation number 4. Now we have to find, as I told, that is outer fiber and inner fiber. So this is the term you'll get. Okay,